Mayong adlaw, brothers and sisters of Christ. Welcome to our episode of Gaza, 21 historical snippets to 2021. In every religious architecture, we see different artistic imageries using religious inspirations. These artistic forms correspond to a particular vocation, evoking and glorifying in faith and adoration, showing the eternal beauty of God. These are what we call sacred art. For 500 years now and beyond, sacred art forms a vital part of the Church, which continues to serve only one purpose: to know Him and adore Him. As we patiently wait for the celebration of the 500th anniversary of Christianity next year, 2021, join me as I take you on a digital trip featuring 21 historical churches, museums, and cemeteries here in the beautiful island of Cebu. And let's take a closer look at these sacred arts and understand its meaning and purpose. And don't forget to like and follow the official page of the Archdiocese of Cebu for the 500 years of Christianity and the CSR page of Smart Communications Incorporated, Smart Communities in Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm Brother Fares, aka Brother Lacochero. Tana, ubanta! Tana, ubanta!
Hailed as the vegetable basket of Cebu. Picture Dalaguete like this: crisp, clean, and cool air. A climate that makes you want to stay in bed, the silence and calmness of its mountain barangays that have also earned the municipality the title Summer Capital of Cebu.
What more could you possibly want? It's no wonder that the town is a hotspot for ecotourism with its reforestation projects and its being home to the only breeding grounds for the flying foxes in Cebu. Aside from its wonderful ambience and the town being a nature lover's best choice for an escapade, the town is also filled with wonderful and interesting heritage places. During the era of Spanish colonization, the influence of Spaniards and their presence became more prominent in Dalaguete when it became a visita of the Vicarage of Siaro or Sialo, which is known as Karkar at present.
A visita at that time meant that a town like Dalaguete that had no priest would have to depend on the visits of a neighboring priest for religious ministrations. This led to more established Spanish presence, which then led to more heritage structures existing in Dalaguete.
So if you're a culture enthusiast or have a soft spot for studying history and developments of Christianity in Cebu, there really is no better place to visit than this town. The first stop for those interested in its heritage and history would be the San Guillermo de Aquitania Parish Church, which was built in 1802 and is recognized as a National Historical Landmark by the National Historical Institute.
The completion of its construction had come after over 2 decades during the year 1825. Like many of the churches built during the Spanish era, the San Guillermo de Aquitania Parish Church did not only serve as a place of worship but also as a refuge for locals during pirate attacks.
There is also a 3-bodied bell tower that stands connected to the church by the bell toller's quarters, which now exists at present as a baptistry since it had been converted. The bell tower has a large mechanical clock that no longer works, but serves more as an ornament and a reminder of the church's glory days. Despite the clock not working, the belfry still houses 5 fully functional bells that Dalaguete uses to this day. Aside from its beautiful and firm architectural design, the church also flaunts regal ceiling paintings done by the famous artist Canoto Avila and his sons. A big portion of the ceiling painting remains untouched. Further, San Guillermo de Aquitania Parish Church also houses a pipe organ that is currently undergoing works of restoration. San Guillermo is one of a few churches that still has its original retablo. Dalaguete's retablo is a pantheon of Augustinian saints in 4 niches framed by a tribuna or raised balcony on both sides. The top niche hosts the image of San Agustin holding a Bible and a replica of San Guillermo Church on his right hand and a heart on the left hand. Below it are 3 niches with the image of San Guillermo flanked by those of Santo Tomas de Villanueva and Saint John de Sahagun. The church's facade is made up of 3 levels, with the pediment integrated in the structure. The pediment is practically bare except for its embellished niches that exist for statues of saints. On the second level of the facade, there are 2 windows on its opposing sections as well as 2 reliefs of Augustinian saints. Separated by cornices, the 3 levels are equally divided into segments by shallow pilasters that flank the facade's central portal, which is found at the second level just like the pediment.
For such a long time, before its renovations, the San Guillermo de Aquitania Parish Church retained most of its original elements.
From its black and white harlequin tiled floors, its wooden retablo, and its magnificent bronze and crystal chandeliers that illuminated its painted ceiling back in the 1930s. But now, as time took its toll on some parts of the church, some additions and restoration have been made. The church's nave, for example, exists in a grandiose state with the main retablo and 2 side altars that complement the muted tones of the ceiling paintings. The gospel side of the transept also supplements the magnificence of the nave with its intricately carved side altars. Despite a few new details, the original beauty of the church has been mostly conserved over time. Its priceless retablo is now framed by a raised balcony on both sides, which is a rare architectural detail called a tribuna, and a strong stone wall called a murala that wraps around the church grounds all the way to the plaza that boasts of a great view of the sea. Still continues to protect the structure as it stands proudly despite having existed for the longest time.
Truly, there is no end to the impressive and to die for sights and cultural phenomena that Dalaguete holds. The sanctity of one's relationship with the Lord begins upon their christening and ends upon their departure from the world of the living. But just because one has passed away, it does not mean that they have lost all spiritual connections with those whom they have left behind. As most people say, funerals honor the dead, but are held for the living. With that in mind, it makes us wonder, what exactly makes cemeteries so important? Campo Santo or cemeteries become a portal, a monument dedicated to remembering those who have left, its gates being the border that separates the land of the living and the dead, serving as a place to put one's loved ones to rest. Cemeteries provide a spiritual sanctuary for families and friends to visit those that are gone. It is a place where they can go to for comfort, a celebration of anniversaries, or simply to meditate and remember past loved ones whom they miss. In the province of Cebu, several cemeteries and mortuaries exist in the municipalities of Dalaguete and Sibonga. Built from humongous cots of coral stone, the cemetery's ground floor walls are strong and durable. Meanwhile, the second floor is made of other materials. Wide plants of Philippine hardwood called tugas and bayong, with the inner part of the walls fashioned from well-preserved tabique pampango. The arched portal of the cemetery, along with its coralline walls, makes for stillness in the surroundings which secures the quiet rest of the deceased. The doors of the structure are wide open with a view that overlooks the sea and octagonal baluarte, a remnant of the series of watchtowers sitting across the church plaza built in the 1800s by Capitan Fray Julian Bermejo. On the left side of the church, a modest and old-fashioned mortuario or mortuary chapel stands. Its coral stones are richly embellished with intricate carvings of death themes. In the old days, there used to be no embalming and the mourning was not done in the houses of the dead because of sanitation concerns, which is why the mortuary has wide ledge that is big enough for a coffin. Next to this quaint building is another mortuary chapel that is also made of coral stones, still standing in the middle of a grid-like placement of the cemetery's burial plots that are more than a kilometer away from the church that is situated beside the National Highway. On the other hand, the cemetery situated in Sibonga is made up of a hefty amount of tombstones that are crowded around a domed mortuary chapel which sits in the heart of the cemetery. The markings of the deceased that surrounds the chapel, a variety of cross sculptures and headstones with engraved details, are protected by the shade of a magnificent acacia tree. The cemetery has a portal made out of coral stone and lime mortar, with a bas relief with the probable year of construction ornately sculpted into it. While the avenue that cemeteries provide for spiritual connection to the deceased is its main function, these structures also remain to be a huge contributions to the culture and heritage of Cebu.
Interesting, right? When travel restrictions will be relaxed soon, make sure to visit the historic church in Dalaguete and see for yourself its beautiful and distinct architecture integrated with sacred arts. And don't forget to take photos. As per the cemeteries in Sibonga and Dalaguete, we hope you've learned something from us, that apart from it being a place where you remember your departed loved ones, it is also a place that holds a valuable historic tales of our past. Thank you very much for joining me in today's digital trip featuring San Guillermo de Aquitania Parish Church and Cemeteries in Sibonga and Dalaguete. Before you go, make sure to download the Panaw sa Pagtuo mobile app, both available in Android and iOS. This is a component of the Traveling Exhibit Project by the Archdiocese of Cebu's Commission for the Cultural Heritage of the Church, Smart Communications Incorporated, and Inupub Media, titled Panaw sa Pagtuo, The Journey of Faith at the 500 Years of Christianity. Thank you very much and let's hashtag Travel Smart very soon. Next time, uban gihapon ta ha! Tana, uban ta!